Hi everyone, I'm Devin McMahon.
And I'm Kathryn Aiken, and we're here to present to you LilyPad, a redesign of the female sanitary napkin. So some may call it Aunt Flo,
Cousin Red.
a visit from Mother Nature,
Riding the cotton pony.
but really it's just your period, and it's a normal bodily function for almost half the world's population.
This is a brief overview of what we'll be discussing with you today, beginning with the current product and the issues associated with it, then moving into the LilyPad solution.
Before we start, we want to illustrate to you the story and vision that we had with LilyPad. It started at 2:30 a.m. on a Tuesday night, and I was awoken frustrated by my menstrual leakage and asking myself, why hasn't the market created a solution for this? In talking to Devin about my frustration, we realized we had the solution, and that would be LilyPad.
One of the most exciting aspects of this business venture is that women have been dealing with the same issues regarding menstruation for years and years on end, but no one has stepped up to provide an effective solution until LilyPad.
We've talked to Alpha Loft, the E-Center at UNH, industry professionals, and even lawyers to make sure that LilyPad was going to be viable in this space.
So we want to start by outlining some of the problems women face during menstruation. There are three common issues of leakage, psychological distress, and discomfort. And this is heightened by the fact that discussion on the topic of menstruation is socially unacceptable. So women are left to deal with these burdens completely on their own.
Current providers only provide perceived differences in absorbency and thickness, and disappointingly, an overnight pad only varies in length.
As you can see by the current product I passed in front of you, it's a flat surface, but the female body isn't flat. So there's a disconnect between the source of discharge and the pad, in which gravity is left to lead the discharge to its core. More often than not, it leaves its path and pools and just becomes very gross and uncomfortable.
So to introduce you to LilyPad like we would to a consumer, we're going to start with the traditional pad. We're all very comfortable with it, but not satisfied.
This is an interlabial pad, and it's been introduced to the market, but women aren't reacting well. There are a lot of concerns regarding where the discharge goes once it's been absorbed. There's still leakage that's occurring.
So what we did is we adhered an appendage to the traditional pad to give it that value that it needs.
LilyPad is the solution that provides women with confidence in their bodies every week of every month. And we do this by adding an accordion-style appendage that connects the pad to the female body, collecting discharge from the source, and then the accordion-style fold leads it into the absorbent core of the pad.
LilyPad is superior in its design. It has a raised interlabial appendage that's inserted into the female body and adhered to the traditional pad. We're going to manufacture the strip and pad separately and adhere it in-house.
Manufacturing costs are estimated at 14 cents per LilyPad, and this is estimated based on conversations that Kate and I have had with the manufacturers that we would be using in coming years.
Our IP is going to be based off of the superior strip design, its adhesion to the pad, and our manufacturing process. Current sanitary pad providers include Always, Stay Free, Eucotex, and generic providers, but because they provide a very similar product line, they haven't been challenged to innovate.
We recognize that there are some huge names backing these brands, but we have a strategy to compete with them that we're excited to share with you in a little while.
LilyPad's competitive advantage is that we take the pad women are currently comfortable with and add tangible value through the raised strip appendage.
And one of the most advantageous aspects of this product is that it's comparably priced, so women are receiving a low-risk purchase for a much higher reward.
The market that we hope to enter is the overnight pad market, and this automatically secures us 1/5 of the sanitary pad segment. This is valued at $296 million annually within the US and $3.3 billion annually worldwide.
Based on a survey that LilyPad independently put out, we found that women are overwhelmingly not confident in their current products and thirsty for innovative products in the market. We've also done some preliminary trials with prototypes, and one female actually said that every woman needs a LilyPad.
So we've talked about our superior product, and let's talk about our team to make it happen. Devin is one of the most mature and professional individuals I know. At such a young age, she's already started and made an international nonprofit flourish. She's also been a part of several prestigious programs and been rightly awarded for her efforts.
Kate is, in my opinion, the ideal business partner. Not only is she creative and organized, but she has proven time and time again that she is the kind of leader who makes things successful. She has started and runs her own nonprofit, which has been very successful in the state of New Hampshire, and she's already made a name for herself here at UNH.
So we've talked about our superior product, our market, our team to make it happen, so let's get down to our business model.
In order to ensure that LilyPad is truly a superior product for women, we'll spend 1 year researching and developing this design, and then move into 2 to 3 years of proof of concept activities.
Our proof of concept activities are going to include promotional events on middle, high school, and college campuses to target our target market of women 12 to 22, but of course LilyPad is applicable to women 12 through menopause. We just feel the content marketing that we hope to use would really resonate well with a target market like that and translate into online sales. Our customer acquisition strategy is based off of media and promotional events to translate into online sales. This is based off of the hope that we can provide an empowering message through women, through our product, and through our brand and media. This is a personalized experience that only LilyPad can currently provide right now. In years 1 through 3, we plan to protect the IP of LilyPad, build trust and dependability of our design in the market, and prove our concept through sales and distribution.
Kate and I discussed a few different opportunities for after our proof of concept activities, and we're really excited about the opportunity that we found to grow as an online provider, along with our exit strategies to merge with another company or license our manufacturing and design to a competitor. But to give you a little more information on this opportunity to grow as an online provider, this is what would help us to compete with the huge brands that are out there now, because we would bypass retail and go directly to the consumer. And from the consumer perspective, this provides a convenient, personalized experience for women during the time of month where they don't exactly feel their best.
What I'm so excited about, and honestly keeps me up at night, is the success of the Dollar Shaves Club distribution model. So what they did is they used content marketing to find a market, and they used a on-demand subscription-based distribution model to bypass major retailers and major players to define their distribution channel. And we don't see why we can't do that for the feminine hygiene market.
Looking at the financials, we recognize that there's a large jump between years 2 and year 3, but this will be backed by major expenses in our customer acquisition. And we would like to point out that once we begin our sales, we're continually bringing in more average monthly revenue than our average monthly burn, which allows us to surpass our break-even point of almost $60,000 in year 3. Currently, we have 3 secured investors and 1 potential investor, which provides us with $6,000 cash and a $3,000 note going into our first year. And this makes us financially secure for our research and development. Moving into our second year, where we begin manufacturing and selling LilyPad, we're looking for an additional minimum of $26,000 in order to do this.
As far as future funding LilyPad will need, we're hopeful in a friends and family round, hoping to do additional pitches and business competitions, but really hoping Holloway could be the start of this, and additional pitches to investors. As part of the first undergraduate angel investing group here on campus, I'm already pretty comfortable with the venture capital environment and think LilyPad could fit well into that.
LilyPad is the solution that women have been waiting for and deserve to have, because it makes them feel confident no matter what time of month it is.
We're really confident in LilyPad and hope you are too. And we'd like to open the floor to any questions you may have.
Questions? So this is unlike probably most presentations I've seen. My personal opinion is that your curve is too long. Like the amount of time you have to get to market seems longer than it needs to be. Is there any way to condense that, whether it's money or time or innovation, to be able to accelerate this so as you don't have to wait 3 years to get to market?
100%. As long as we have the money to make this happen, Devin and I are incredibly motivated to get this going as fast as possible. We've already been talking with lawyers about patents. Definitely see that being able to happen very quickly. And as soon as our online space can be set up, we can start doing promotional activities and getting this going.
And especially exciting right now is that there's a movement just beginning for talk about menstruation in the market. This is something that we want to capitalize on, especially with our opportunity to grow as an online provider. this is exactly what LilyPad is aiming to do, except these women are working specifically with tampons, so it's a completely separate product for women. But we want to jump on this conversation while it's beginning in order to be a major part of it as it's growing.
You know, as a guy, we gotta have a little fun with this. Because I mean, this is just not a subject that we talk about every day. As a guy, I'm a little bit more interested in a product that covers the PMS phase of the menstruation process. You know, the whole pack my suitcase, I'm out of here while you get through this, because it's a hard thing that you have to go
I think
through.
our distribution model would help with the frustration.
Yeah, well, I was thinking you can market this to guys too, that want to solve problems. So at first when I was looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, do you glue this, like do you give?
Yes. So that is just our prototype. In the future, I plan to use a hot melt gum adhesive to adhere this strip to the pad. Currently, we're using a sewing machine, but of course, with resources, we could definitely get a hot melt gum adhesive working.
I'm going to add, and I'm glad you gave me that information, but I was thinking that, and maybe some of you guys caught the same thing, that I honestly don't know what these things look like. I really don't. I have a daughter, and she would send me to the store, and I would go like this, and I would buy it. I didn't want to think about it. But the pad part of it, couldn't you, and maybe not, but just sell this and have them glue it onto a pad or adhese, not glue it, but wouldn't that now you can instantly sell something that anybody can use on a pad that they're already comfortable with? I'm just throwing this out there.
That is something that we've thought about because right away, and especially with our faculty advisor being a male, he was kind of saying similar things. But Kate and I made the argument that for women, one of the biggest issues with the interlabial pads that we pointed out was that there wasn't the comfortability of the regular pad beneath it to collect the discharge. So once that appendage is filled with the discharge, it can then absorb into the core, which makes it more comfortable for the women and prevents leakage. But if you had a product that was
a barrier now, you can't get through the barrier, so
Right.
you'd have to be able to attach this and have a barrier that it can get through, and what I was talking about, okay, that makes
Right.
sense, yeah.
What we have thought about in order to make it convenient for women, and this is something that we would determine during our research and development, we have considered packaging them separately so that women could then take off the adhesive and stick it on by inserting the appendage first and then just pulling on the regular pad. So that is something that we've considered. We are definitely open to looking into that more, but we found that it's important to keep the pad and the appendage together.
Will they come in different sizes?
So what you see right now is the medical measurement for the female genital tract. So that's what we're hoping to use right now. As mentioned, the overnight pad is only differentiated length of the entire pad, and you wouldn't necessarily need that.
Are there regulatory, federal, other things you have to overcome in order to bring this to market?
So we're using all the same materials that are used in sanitary products currently. So we haven't had any issues with what materials we can and cannot use because we're not using anything that hasn't been approved.
So in one of your diagrams, you had an eyedropper and sort of showed sort of the way it works graphically.
Right.
What have you done on sort of real testing on it?
Kate and I have both used them and found them to be very successful, both in comfortability during the night. I wasn't waking up anymore. I could sleep in any position I wanted to without worrying about it, and I woke up not feeling gross and dirty.
Friends who have tried it, we've actually kind of stepped outside of our comfort zone and asked them to send photos of what it looks like in the morning. And just as we predicted, the same thing with us, it rests in the middle of the pad and the core where we want it to be. No leakage.
Sorry, go ahead.
Tampons obviously went through their phase in the newspapers with toxic shock. Okay?
Yes.
Now you're introducing something that's being inserted. You don't have any worries about the same bacteria buildup and going that same direction. You don't have to go through years of testing to prove that that's not going to be an issue again.
So the difference is that tampons are fully inserted into the female body, but our product simply lays in the genital tract. So we've kind of described it to try and help people understand. It's almost like a horizontal tampon. So it doesn't go physically inside the body, but it goes within the genital tract.
It's inside, it's past the genital tract where that bacteria builds up, so we wouldn't face those issues.
So that's why it provides a great alternative I mean, we're not looking right now to target women who use tampons overnight currently, but we have heard from friends who do only use tampons because of issues with leakage and discomfort that have said, hey, I would actually use these instead of a tampon to avoid the risk of toxic shock syndrome that I put myself through right now. So that's nice to hear as well, that it's not, because that makes our market even larger than the 296 million that's currently calculated.
So you have not yet filed for a patent, is that correct?
So we looked into the patent process very thoroughly. We talked with, I would say, two lawyers and someone who's very familiar with the patent process. And what we determined is that there is a small piece of prior art that builds a large mound in the middle of a pad where we are asking for a strip. So in essence, we are going to have a patent by today. We have a lawyer. I have a agreement that I can sign at any point and we can file that provisional patent. But we wanted to make sure that we were perfectly clear on what that we were going to patent in every way of this. So we just pushed it back a little to make sure that we could provide for any situation.
And that's why in the financials that are updated, we've allocated time within our year of research and development where we finish our actual research and we're filing for the patent, we're preparing our online activity. So there is that time and budget allocation there as well.
I love the analogy of the Dollar Shave Club. I think that obviously resonates well. The interesting thing though is trying to see whether you guys position yourself as kind of the same price, or this almost feels like a luxury thing where the Dollar Shave was a low price, beat the competition. I'm just curious, kind of how much more would you pay for this versus a regular pad?
So current pads are priced anywhere between 8 cents and 56 cents.
Yeah.
And by selling directly to the consumer, we would essentially be selling wholesale to them. So it would only cost them 26 cents for a LilyPad. If it were to go on the shelves by, say, a competitor licensing our product in the future, it would then probably be marked up to closer to 56 cents. So if you're going the retail route, yes, it will be more expensive, but by going directly to consumers, we've reduced their costs.
I look at this and I see a product, but I don't see a company, because I think this is a license thing. I think you go to one of the big players in the industry and just say, our patent's good, you want it, and let's have a bidding war, and then you two go to the beach and relax and let them work.
So that was our original plan. And
Okay.
before we saw the prior art of that large mound in the middle, we thought, oh, that was perfect. We were just like you. But we realized that the industry put that through a cycle. The patent has since expired 20 years ago. They brought it through, they changed it a few times, and they phased it out. It's not in the market right now. They're not being challenged to innovate by competitors. So why are they going to spend more money to add value to their product when they can provide what they're already providing?
And that's actually a lot of what this article talks about. I obviously had to screenshot it, so the whole 3-page article isn't there. But they talk about the fact that the feminine hygiene industry is dominated right now, and it's the small businesses that are up and coming, especially the ones run by young women who actually know what the product needs to satisfy, that are causing these changes, and therefore changing the way that the market is run.
Well, you don't have to look any further than Uber to see that there are a lot of young people in particular that are disrupting age-old industries. This is an age-old, as you said, it's, I don't know what they did 500, 1,000, or 10,000 years ago. I can't even imagine. But yeah, if you can make this thing successful, you're disrupting the big boys and girls out there that are the play. What are the companies that are?
Major players include Georgia Pacific, Kimberly-Clark, P&G. We're aware, but we think we can do better.
Disrupt.
We know we can.
Disrupt, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, along those lines, the first thing I thought of was Nest, the thermostat, which for years I always hated the look of thermostats. I mean, it's obviously a totally different thing, but I was always like, why these things are so ugly? They look like they were designed in the 50s, and why is no one was challenged? Honeywell, owned the market and didn't have to update it because people bought them, stuck them on their wall, and forgot about them, they said. And then Nest came along and said, well, why don't we make it look like an Apple product? And suddenly everybody wanted one, and then Honeywell had to scramble. And I think this could be the same type of thing if you do it right. I think it's a great idea to go direct to the consumer and say we'll send you these, basically now how many you're going to need on a monthly basis. We'll send them to you on a rotating subscription basis, pays X amount a month. You don't have to think about it. I think that there's a great market there for you.
And those companies, to his point, those companies that are making these products now, sometimes it's not in their best interest to innovate, because it disrupts what they're already making. They go into the stockholders and say, we're making billions of dollars on this tampon or this pad. And if we innovate with something, we could be shooting ourselves in the foot, because in the short run, I don't know how the math works, but they may not. It's about disruption. If you can, I know a little bit about the female anatomy, not a lot, but enough. And this looks like it makes sense to me.
Yeah. And one of the other nice aspects of this is that a lot of times women will vary in their heaviness in their cycle, and on heavier nights you usually have to layer, but this makes it so that every night you only need one. You don't have to be worried about it, and so that allows us to better predict the numbers that they'll need and therefore better provide for them on a monthly or 6-monthly basis.
You guys can go all the bars in Lansdowne Street and hand these things out, right? Seriously, you used to do that with other products.
So was the reason you had such a long trial period kind of because conserving cash and not accelerating that, or is that necessary to you?
We don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
We're motivated enough to 6 months. You guys.
Yeah, I think we wanted to be conservative in our projections so that we didn't come in looking like two freshman students who didn't know what they were doing. We wanted to show you all that we know we can grow faster, but we're prepared even if we can't.
Usually people expect a high level of exaggeration on sales anyway, so.
If anything, you guys are too conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're a little conservative on the research side. I think you need more money up front to get this rolling. I think you should not get started until you know you've got more ready behind you, so you don't get down the road and spend all your time looking for more money.
Yeah, and that's the point. If you, especially with your investors, you go to investors and you get, as in the case of the software guys that were up there earlier, $200,000, and all of a sudden and by the way, your presentation is impeccable. It's impeccable. And your burn rate, I mean, you had all the right stuff up there. And but at your burn, you always burn a lot more. Just do. And if 6 months into it, you got to go back to your investors and say, we ran out of our money and we need more, it's just not a good conversation. So you're better off. I think everybody in this panel is bringing it up. You really need to rethink at how you're going to spend your money, how much you're going to spend. Maybe you ramp it up a little faster.
Yeah, definitely ask for more because it also takes twice as long to raise the money as you think it will.
Okay.
Other questions? We got another minute and a half or so.
To be more questions if at least one woman on this panel.
Any suggestions?
Ron went fast. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you very
Well
much.
done.
Okay, I started off today saying that everybody who was in this competition has gotten this far were winners. And I said that's because they were taking their knowledge and doing something with it and creating something. And I think after seeing the quality of these 5 presentations we've seen, that's very, very clear now. So everybody who was in this session and presented,